Good morning, Campground and RV park owners, operators, and managers. Brian Searle here, founder and CEO of Insider Perks. Really excited to be coming to you guys one-on-one in this daily video format, doing our best to offer some practical marketing advice, tips, tricks, things that you can use to increase your revenue, increase your camper nights, and just overall be more successful. So today we're going to talk about specifically starting a new campground or RV park. So for those of you who already own RV parks or campgrounds, are already established, already got yourselves out there, already have people pulling into your pull-through sites, staying with you overnight, this video is probably not going to be super relevant to you, but maybe you could pick up one or two tips if you decide to stay tuned in and join us. So when you're starting a new RV park, we obviously can't counsel you on all the things like building and digging and trenching and burying pipes and running cable and all those kinds of construction type things that a really good management company might be able to do for you. But what we can do is talk to you about the marketing, and specifically the digital marketing, and how you, on day one, when you throw open your doors, get ready to welcome your guests and make sure that there are actually guests there ready to pull in. So how you do that is first getting yourself out there. You have to exist. So the old school way of thinking is billboards and newspaper ads and press releases and all those kinds of things. Now, we're not going to shoot all those down and say they're horrible ideas, because depending on what you're trying to accomplish, where you're trying to accomplish it, and how quickly or how slowly, or what your budget is, those things might have a play. But for us, we're going to talk specifically about digital marketing today. And so your number one goal with any new business, any new campground, any new RV park, is to make sure that you exist. And that doesn't mean physically exist. That means exist on the internet. Because if you're not on Google Maps, if you're not on Apple Maps, if you're not on Bing, if you're not on social media, if you're not on all the different directory listings and places that we call data aggregators and things like that, then your campground doesn't exist in the eyes of consumers anymore, because they're not looking at Good Sam anymore in droves. At least the younger type audience isn't. They're not looking at magazines and rack cards without going to Google then and trying to figure out if you have reviews, what the pictures of your park are like, those types of things. So number one goal is just making sure you're built out. And I would even say that this is maybe more important than building a website out. Dare I say that? Probably people who are marketers are probably shaking their head thinking I don't know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing. A website is a very, very close second. No doubt. Very, very close second. But you need to be able to be found on, I think, Google, Yelp, TripAdvisor, social media sites like that, because I feel like there are a lot of people who will look at your pictures there, who will look at your reviews, who will read your comments and your social media posts, and they would make a decision to come camp with you and call you based on just Facebook or just Google or just whatever. And so if you're on those sites, I feel like that establishes your presence in a much more robust way than your initial website will, because no one really knows what your website is yet. And those profiles fully fleshed out allow you to put a link to your new website and allow people to begin organically finding you. Not only that, but those listings will help you rise in the rankings a whole lot quicker than you would otherwise with just starting a website and not doing any listings at all and waiting for people to find you one by one as these places pick you up. So listings, website, and just getting yourself out there. Those are the two key things, I think, in the beginning. And depending on what your budget is, depending on what you want to spend, I would say ad campaigns. If you feel like you really want to hit the ground running day one, run an ad campaign and start it 6 months before you open. Don't spend too much, but 6 months. Build up some anticipation. Coming soon. Make your reservations now. Get your site booked. Those kind of things. And then on day one, we're open. Grand opening. Come stay with us. Be the first in this site. Be the second in this site. Stay in this cabin. Very first person. And don't just worry about Google. Google is very good for intent, but make sure you're hitting ads on social media, Facebook, Instagram, things like that, depending on your target audience, of course, and your demographics of the people that you're trying to attract to your park. But don't be afraid to advertise on these platforms, because they're super, super cheap now, and they won't be in a couple years. So number one, listings, which includes getting yourself set up on social media sites. Number two, making sure you have a website built out. And number three, making sure that if you need to run an ad campaign, you can. And then there are other steps that go beyond that. When you start to open your doors for the first time, you want to make sure you begin with a robust social media presence, posting things that are happening, telling stories, sharing videos, allowing people to connect with you, monitoring your reviews to make sure that you understand the feedback that you're getting, especially early on, as you learn to grow this experience and learn what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, learning what people are saying about you, what news sites are saying, what blog articles are writing, all that kind of stuff. And so it's a tricky landscape to navigate. Digital is changing every single day. And that is why it's crucial for you to have someone on your team who understands all of this. And it can be a local marketing person that you hire who has marketing experience. Absolutely, it can be. But ideally, you really want to have an agency behind you who is focused on the ability to do whatever you need when the situation arises. And that doesn't mean it has to be us. It's not a selling point, but you want to have somebody who's versed and knowledgeable and constantly reading up on this stuff, and who's not just trying to sell you everything in the book because it'll make them a quick buck, but doing things in the order that you need them, when you need them, not before, not after, is the best strategy for a new campground or RV park to be very, very successful on day one. Really appreciate you guys joining us for another day-to-day episode here of our daily YouTube content, and we will see you tomorrow.